Good afternoon. I'm Sheila Harris Adams. I'm with NJ Faces of Small Business, and I'm so happy you can join us. Today I have the honor of sitting across from a friend, but this is Curtis Myers, and he is the CEO and president of Aspire Youth. So Curtis, I'm so glad that you could join us today, and I'm excited for you to share a little bit about who your organization is. So talk to me about who you are first.
So, hi, thank you again, Sheila, for this wonderful opportunity. I'm Curtis Myers from Aspire Youth Development. We are a training organization here based in Burlington County that really is designed to recruit, develop, and inspire and train young people to get them ready for the workforce. And so we've been operating in the space around workforce development for young people, primarily ages 16 to 24. As well as leadership training and professional development for younger audiences.
So when did you start the business?
Yeah, so interesting. I started Aspire originally in 2004. It was kind of like a part-time business, and it was around my passion for leadership training for young people.
Okay.
And I just really enjoyed helping equip young people with skills to be leaders. So I initially focused really on young people in high school to be effective peer leaders, leaders of their sports teams, their clubs, just be leaders in their community. So we focused on that for quite a while, and then we started getting into workforce development as a natural byproduct. How do we get young people ready for summer employment and those things? So that's kind of how we got started.
So did you initially start out saying, okay, I'm going to start this organization? How did you start your entrepreneurial journey?
It's interesting because I actually started it, I was working for a nonprofit in the area, and I left to work for another organization, and one of the schools that I had worked with had reached out to me and said, hey, the person that took your position doesn't offer the type of stuff that you do, and could we contract with you to just provide some of that leadership training? And that's really how Aspire started. It was basically a school counselor saying, can you help us? And I started as a consulting and just built it into a company over time.
So you still work with high schools, and
Yeah.
who do you work with? Who are your customers?
So I think of my customers as two primary audiences, really probably three. So I work with young people. Our organization helps identify and develop 16 to 24-year-olds and get them ready for the workforce. So to work with young people, we've got to work with young youth-serving organizations. So that's schools, that's nonprofits, that might be even government agencies, whether it's the foster care system or the juvenile justice system. But how do we work with some of our more vulnerable young people and help get them back on track and into the workforce? And then also just working with general population young people. So, you know, we'll work with, like I said, schools, with churches, with whatever type of organizations that typically have an outreach or a connection with a young audience.
And you also work with the Department of Labor, correct?
Correct. So the Department of Labor is our primary funding source, both on the local county level, so the county workforce development, as well as the State Department of Labor, to really focus on what's called the WIOA eligible youth, so the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, which is basically young people who are between the ages of 16 and 24 who are out of school, who have a risk factor. So
Okay.
It could be a young person, and maybe, you know, situations in life happen. Maybe they dropped out of high school. Maybe they are a pregnant or parenting young person. Maybe they are a young person who's been involved in some capacity with the court system or with foster care, or it's just low income, and they really need some help to kind of just get their life on track and, you know, make the most of the opportunities that are out there for them.
What kind of programs do you offer?
Yeah, so for us, a lot of it looks like job training and development. So
Okay.
how do we connect them to the right resources, help them put together a good plan, and help them execute the plan? So I often tell young people, I said, we're a combination of a high school guidance counselor and your nagging aunt. Right? Your high school guidance counselor would lay out your plans and your coursework and what you should be doing. And your nagging aunt is the person that stays on top of you and says, boy, you're supposed to be doing that. And so we really work with young people to help think about, hey, if you want to get here are steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 to get you to 5. I think what happens with anyone, but especially young people, you can focus on, I want to be this, and you can get frustrated because you won't be this overnight.
Okay.
But if we can help you see the steps that you can take and help you celebrate, hey, you've completed step 1. Boom, now we're on to step 2. Hey, you're making progress. Man, step 5 is not that far away. let's keep working. Here's the plans. And so for us, that connects them with employers. Sometimes that might mean giving them a subsidized employment. Like one of the young people I remember, she wanted to get into the medical space, and so she didn't really have any experience, and she was a little young to be able to really get into the type of job she wanted. So we spoke to the physical therapist office, which is right next to our office in Lumberton, and he said he loved the opportunity. So it was a win-win. The young person got a chance to just be in the medical environment and just see what it was like. They were able to get a check. We were able to pay them, and the employer was able to really give back, maybe train a potential staff person and not have a financial investment,
right,
because the grant funding was able to pay for the young person's wages. So when we see those types of things and see the opportunities that they're being able to see and actually materialize, we get excited about that.
So it's almost like you have two customers.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Without question. And really probably three, because as we've been working in the workforce development space, it's so clear that the employers really need our support and services, right? So obviously in different industries, their workforce is getting older, and they need to bring in a younger workforce. And a lot of times, young people will tend to gravitate to what they know. You know, I often tell young people, like, I didn't eat broccoli for a long time, not because broccoli was bad, because I just wasn't exposed to it. And so once I got exposed to broccoli, I realized I like broccoli. So if you ask most young people, hey, what do you want to do? They're going to name maybe 3 or 4 possible jobs.
Okay.
But our job is career exploration and help them see, hey, these are the other opportunities that are right in your backyard here in Burlington County. These are industries that are growing in New Jersey, and these might be off the beaten path. So they are often very familiar with the, the restaurant jobs and maybe even the warehousing positions, but are they aware of the advanced manufacturing industry and what the opportunities look like there and how accessible it is to them? Are they really understanding the breadth of technology and IT, and what does it really look like versus what they think it looks like? Retail, hospitality, and tourism, making sure they understand the opportunities around healthcare. You know,
Right.
It's not just doctor, nurse, or nothing else. There's like a ton of opportunities, positions, training. We had a young lady that really blessed me, that she went and took a phlebotomy training, and she was able to get a certification in only a few months and was able to get gainfully employed at Cooper Hospital, making $25 an
Wow.
hour.
Wow.
And it was something that she wouldn't have thought about before. But as she got exposed and learned where the opportunities were, she got connected to the training resources, and was able to see a pathway for herself. Those are the things that make us feel like, yes, they are going to be great. We're going
Right.
to help them get there. We're going to help them find their goals and find their way.
Right. So I know you work with the high schools. You work with one-stops.
Yep.
But you also work with the colleges. Talk to me about some of the programs that you've been doing with some of the local colleges.
So we've been great partners with Rowan College of Burlington County. They've been great with us and working with their team there. So we've been able to get young people in some of their training programs there, some of their Quick Start, which are opportunities for kids to get not only a credential but also some college credit and get prepared for the workforce and get connected. And then we've just partnered with them on just different college fairs and things of that nature to just kind of expose and get our kids going on a healthier pathway in a better direction.
That's great. That's great. So talk to me a little bit about some of the youth that you
Yeah.
have the opportunity to work with. Who are they? Let's say there's a youth watching this right now. How do they get involved? How do they find out about your organization and get involved in one of these programs?
So I think the easiest way is you can obviously visit our website, and I'm sure it'll be on the screen, aspireyouth.com. And there's also a QR code. But I think if you're a young person and you're between 16 and 24 and you're really thinking about, I need to kind of turn my life around or get some direction and really work on some plans. Even if I have an idea, I need some help and some guidance. And especially if you're a young person who's had some challenges that you are overcoming or have had to overcome, we love to help you. And so we'll help you with everything from figuring out, if you haven't finished high school, how do I get enrolled in the right high school equivalency program? There's several options available for Burlington County young people, but it's finding the right fit for you. Do I need to go in an evening program? Do I need to go to a day program? Do I need to go to an online only? So helping them navigate that. One of the things that we do is, everyone wants to work, but no one has been prepared to work.
Right.
So we offer training, what we call workplace skills, or some people call it soft skills, essential skills. But it's those things that every employer is going to teach you how to do the job, but do you know how to be on a job? So understanding what professionalism looks like, understanding how to manage your emotions, dealing with emotional intelligence, dealing with communication skills, dealing with conflict, all those things that are universal for every workforce, how to work as a team. You know, some of the skills young people may have and not know they have from what they've experienced in school, but some of them haven't necessarily understood how to translate those skills to the workforce. So yes, we help them with resume writing and practicing interviews and job searching and all those types of things. But I think the thing that I have the greatest joy in seeing is when they really understand, like, I get what it looks like to actually have a job. Because it's not just about, I'm going to work here for 40 hours a week and I'm going to get a paycheck and I'm working for the paycheck, but really understanding, like, hey, this is what they expect of me. This is how I add value to that company. Because I always explain to young people, people don't hire you because they need an employee. They need somebody who can add value. So can I help you understand how to add value to this particular employer? What does it look like? What do you bring to the table? And then how do you make sure you maximize that in that space, and then use that as a stepping stone to build your career. So there's a difference between a job and a career. And so jobs will build your career, and it's not necessarily that you have to leave from employer to employer, but how do you go in and almost work with your manager to see yourself as, I'm treating my current role as like semesters. For the next 6 months, I'm going to be doing this job. And now, what's my next step? Where do I go in our company? How do I add more value? What do I need to learn? What skills do I need to have? So we really want to empower young people to be really strong assets for employers and be able to advocate for themselves, because they understand who they are, what they are bringing to the table, and how to enhance their own skills at the same time.
And you're being modest, but you also teach them how to dream, right? You allow them to dream, and show them what they need to do to get to that place.
Yeah, because dreams can be frustrating, right? Like, you know what you want to see, but how do I get there? And so sometimes having somebody to help you really think about it, like, you can do it, just got to know what it's going to look like to get there and be willing to do the work.
So I know I worked with you on a program where they did pitch week, they pitched a small business, which of course I'm excited about seeing them do. They did dream board, they did all kinds, in addition to the tangible skills that you guys were teaching them along the way. You gave them an opportunity to dream a little bit bigger and to figure out what that next step was going to be. So talk to me a little bit about some of your favorite programs. You've been doing this for a minute. Talk to me about some of the programs that you look back and you say, wow, that one was really just incredible.
So it's interesting. I saw something on a Facebook flashback, and it reminded me of this great diversity education program we did called Colors. So part of leadership development for us, in terms of what we do, is we do the workforce stuff and leadership development, but thinking about how do you help young people understand how to communicate, right? And understand others, right? Because we often think communication is what I say, but it's really what other people understand. And we got the opportunity years back to work with a group of students from 5 different diverse high schools in Burlington County, brought them together, took them through several months of just soul-searching, experiential learning about themselves and others, and having the uncomfortable conversations that people don't have, but we had it with these students. And then they put on a dramatic presentation to share kind of what they learned and experienced and to challenge their peers. And it was beautiful to see these young people talk about complex issues around race and identity, and be able to learn how to value one another, respect each other's differences, and yet find ways to healthily disagree about issues. And so it was just so cool to see, like, that type of stuff. And so some of these young people now are much older, and I'm watching them in social media and seeing them raising their families and seeing the different things that they're doing. And it's just very fulfilling to see, like, hey, we played a part in their development, and they're really becoming solid citizens and taking some of those values and lessons that they've learned. So I think that the Colors program was one of my favorite
That's great.
initiatives.
That's great. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I want to hear about you
Okay.
and your journey and
Yeah.
what led you to this place and that you find yourself in.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
You can be confident choosing Farmers Insurance. There's no need to knock on wood.
Perfect.
This is an unnatural amount of natural light.
Thank you.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And by switching, you could even save $652. Thank you, Liberty Mutual. Now, contestants ready? Go! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Do you ever wonder why you're doing what you do in life? Do you wish that you could be really happy and passionate about what you do? Or maybe you already are and you want to expand in a different direction. Hi, I'm Barbara Ann, the new host of What the Why on RVN Television. I love what I do. A lot of that has to do with my story, my journey to this point in life. And guess what? Everybody has a story. So please join me on RVN Television for conversations with leaders from all walks of life about what they do, and more importantly, why they do it. How they found their core purpose, their passion, their mission in life. And if you're looking for your own, maybe you'll get some great suggestions on how you too can find your why.
My dream day with Offset starts like...
Cardi, baby, get in. I surprise you with a place all to ourselves.
Thank you, baby.
You look gorgeous tonight, baby. We share our favorite McDonald's order.
And we start with a cheers. Let's eat. The Cardi B.
An Offset meal.
Ba-da-pa-pa-pa.
Hey.
Welcome back to New Jersey Faces of Small Business. We are here with Curtis Myers with Aspire Youth. So Curtis, we've heard a lot about Aspire, but I'd like to learn a little bit more about you. I mean, you are a successful entrepreneur. You've been doing this for a minute. So talk to me about your journey to Aspire Youth. I mean, did you always desire to be an entrepreneur? And what did you do previously before you founded this organization?
So interestingly, I'm a military kid, military brat. So I was born in Panama, and because of being in a military environment and family, I feel like I was exposed to a lot of different people, but was never really rooted. And then when we got to New Jersey, Fort Dix, New Jersey, we kind of got rooted here and stayed in Burlington County. And I met some very important people who helped me navigate my teen years. My local church pastor, some young men that attended the church, my high school football coach, some other caring adults. And it really shaped who I was. And it encouraged me to be me. And one of the things when people talk about being an entrepreneur, I was always kind of like a hustler. Like I always did like the sale of stuff. I remember selling leather ties in high school and just certain things. I just
Leather ties.
Leather ties. My dad once, you know, I was going to go back to Panama, and he said that however much money I made cutting lawns, he would match it.
Okay.
So he, you know, I was out there hustling, cutting lawns and shoveling. So like I always did.
That was your 401k as
That
a
was
child.
it. That was it. That was the matching dollars, right? So I understood that, and so it just created that energy for me to create. And so actually, when I got to college, I went to college to be a business major. I was went to Wharton School of Business at UPenn, and I was a finance major. And I went to this amazing conference where I met these entrepreneurs, these minority entrepreneurs. And I never forget it. It was in October of 1987. Give you an idea of how old I am. But I literally go there, and one of the business owners is, I think Bill Picard was his name, Picard Plastics in Detroit, and he was a major supplier for for GM parts. And one of the things he said, he was like, hey, you guys can leave college and go get great jobs, and I'm not telling you shouldn't, but you can also create jobs. Like, you guys can create things, so don't sell yourself short. Go pursue starting a business. And that was on like a Friday or Saturday. That Monday morning, I was in the advising office saying, can I change my major to entrepreneurial management?
Really?
I want to learn how to do this.
Okay.
And so when I got out of school, I worked for a couple different organizations. I actually worked for GE. I worked for a small marketing company that was owned by an entrepreneur. And that really helped me realize, like, I think I could build something. And then I got into working for nonprofits for a while. And then that's when I really was like, hey, I want to create a business that might flow in the nonprofit space in terms of the thing that I value. Because somebody at one point had told me, if you actually go pursue something you're passionate about, you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
And so I was always passionate about, how do I help young people be better, right? And so I was like, but how could that be a business? And I was like, well, I'm going to make it a business. I'm going to get contracts and accounts and sign agreements to do the work that I really want to do, that I'm passionate about. And that's kind of how I got there. I mean, it was really about finding that thing that I really loved, and just figuring out a way, like, if you love it and you do it well, you'll come up with the plans, the strategies, and things will take care of themselves. And that's basically kind of been my journey.
So let's talk to some of the up-and-coming entrepreneurs. We may have
Sure.
some young people that are watching right now, or someone who's saying, you know what, I've always wanted to do this. What kind of advice would you give them?
Start small, start. I think sometimes people can be overwhelmed by trying to do the whole thing and never start. So I just believe in the art of the start. Like, if you're passionate about baking, start baking some stuff and start sampling out and selling it here or there. And you don't have to go buy a bakery and open a shop right away, but just start with it and just keep going on your journey, keep taking step after step. We partner with an organization called Build Ed, and they do this great training on entrepreneurship. And one of the things that really blessed us, as well as our students that we put through the program, was this whole idea of start and move in stages. And he really talked about, like, don't ever start a business without having a job. And I was like, really? Because everyone always says, you know, go all in. He goes, no. If you go all in, you won't be able to feed the business. So start part-time.
Or your family.
Or your family, yeah, right. And so he's like, start part-time, and that way you can, you know, your job can take care of you, moonlight, you know, learn the skills that you need, learn the industry, and just make the mistakes without having to suffer, make your family suffer or you suffer, because you need to be able to reinvest that money in the business. And as I think about it, I actually was doing Aspire part-time consulting for almost 9 years before I actually went full-time.
Okay.
And, you know, and that it actually prepared me. By the time I was ready to go full-time, it was like, I get it now.
Right.
And it's been a great journey.
Right. So for the up-and-coming entrepreneurs, how do you build your business? I mean, your business didn't happen by itself, not overnight. Someone didn't walk up to you and say, here, Curtis, here's an opportunity. So, you know, what did that look like for you? And again, what advice do you give that person that's watching, that's wondering, you know, how do I build this and make this into something?
So I think one of the most important thing that people don't understand is the power of your relationships and your network. And Aspire is where it is because I've really had great people around me, people that I know. So what I mean by network, I literally had doors open to me because people knew me. They knew my work. They knew my work ethic. They knew the value. So they gave me an opportunity. I've had people who've referred employees to me.
Right.
You know, everyone who works for me right now has either worked for me before in a previous life or has worked with somebody I know, and they referred them to me.
Right.
It's only one person that I really hired that was like off of LinkedIn. Everybody else was just like, you should go work with Curtis. Curtis, you should talk to this person. And then even most of the business development that I do, it's a lot, it's only one major account that was truly a cold call. Everything else has been, you know, I share with people what I do. I'm involved with the Chamber of Commerce, networking, talking to people understanding what you bring to the table, and they'll open doors for you, especially when you're the kind of person that opens doors for others as well.
Right.
So be a networker who's a giver, and then you will always receive.
Yes, yes. I know my first multi-million-dollar contract was because I was at a networking event and met someone that I met years previously, and they said, "Hey, do you do this?"
Yep.
And that led to an incredible opportunity for my organization. So networking is key.
Yes,
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we wrap up, I want to end with this. What's your why? What gets you out of bed every day, keeps you going, really drives you forward?
So I really feel like I'm flowing in my God-designed purpose. I really feel like I was birthed to make a difference in people's lives. And so that's an incredible assignment, joy and burden, but it's also something I really enjoy. And so for me, I know that there were people who've been uniquely placed in my life in different seasons that have helped me grow. And I also know there have been experiences that I've had in my life that could have been either negative or positive. And being able to understand the impact of that and how to make it a positive experience, I think really drives me. And so when I look at the work that we do, you know, I know what a good first job leading to a career will do to somebody. I know what it does to their esteem, to their value, but I also know what the contributions that we need from everyone at the table. You know, this debate about, you know, generational conflict, young and old, racial conflict, different races, I think we've missed the point. Like, we need everyone at this time in history. Like, we need everyone's brilliance, we need everyone's contribution, and we have got to learn how to work together and how to bring out the best in one another. So for us, we really focus on helping young people come to the table, helping them add value, and helping older generations understand, like, here, this is the value that they bring. So don't have the mindset of, hey, get off my lawn, but these young people are bringing a perspective, a skill set, a talent that you need in your company. We'll help prepare them for that. And then we've got to help prepare the young people to say, hey, listen, you don't know it all. Like, you have to understand the value that these others have gone before you, the things they've learned, the things they've built. Yes, be able to share and contribute, but be able to listen and hear and understand their whys and understand what they do. And so for me, I feel like, you know, that's something that just God placed in my heart. Like, how do you connect people? How do you help people be part of something together? That's just a passion of mine.
So you understand why he's one of my first guests on the show. I want to thank you for the difference you're making for the young people in this region, for the businesses that they're working with. It is making a difference, and you are creating an incredible impact in this region. So I applaud you specifically as a small business owner making a difference. It's not always easy, but you do it well. And we do, you know, we see what you're doing and we appreciate what you're doing. So before we go, though, please remind everyone about your organization. How do they find you? How do they get in touch with you? And we'll take it from there.
So thank you again, Sheila, for this opportunity. Thank you for always being such a supporter and an encourager. If you want to get in contact with us, you can obviously reach us on our website, aspireyouth.com. There's also a QR code on the screen. Our phone number is 609-518-3500. And you can always reach us at info@aspireyouth.com.
Curtis, thank you so much. I appreciate you carving out time from your schedule to be with us today. I'm Sheila Harris Adams. We will see you the next time for New Jersey Faces of Small Business.